Hello everybody, my name is Bragster and welcome to how I would book the top 5 most likely winners of the Women's Royal Rumble of 2021 Road to WrestleMania. So I'll book how they kind of win the Royal Rumble, like the little bit at the end, almost until WrestleMania, and how I would do it personally if I was to have those winners. Now, I wouldn't choose some of these winners to win. I would have chosen 3 of them, but not 2 of them. And that will probably become apparent in my booking, because I might find it a little bit more difficult to book those to win. So I'll run through from number 5 until number 1 as to what order I will go in. So 5th on the list is Bayley. Then we've got Charlotte Flair. Then we've got Rhea Ripley, then Alexa Bliss, and then Bianca Belair. These are the top 5 in terms of who is most likely to win the Royal Rumble according to SkyBet from bottom to top. So I'll start with the least likely according to SkyBet to the most likely. So I'll start with Bayley and end with Bianca Belair. So starting off with Bayley, this storyline writes itself, let's be honest. So Bayley wins the Rumble. It comes down to her and Bianca Belair. This will be very reminiscent of how I booked Bianca Belair, because SmackDown have done it perfectly. If Bayley is to win, I would have it come down to Bianca and Bayley. Bayley eliminates Bianca at the end, overcoming the odds, I guess, of Bianca. Even though if Bianca wins, it would be overcoming the odds of Bayley. Anyway, so she will eliminate Bianca, obviously get the heat of that. She will obviously be going for Sasha Banks. However, the little twist is that Bianca wants that title. She wants Bayley. She wants revenge for Bayley eliminating her last. So she will. So we might have the Elimination Chamber. Maybe we'll have the SmackDown title in the Elimination Chamber. I'm not too sure, if I'm honest with you. Whether you would do that or whether just have a simple SmackDown Women's title. But whatever happens, the final hurdle, Fastlane, will have Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. It will be a beautiful story. Does Bayley get her arch enemy, or does Bayley get her secondary arch enemy at the moment in Bianca Belair? It'll be a great little storyline. I don't think it matters who wins. I would personally go for Sasha Banks for one reason and one reason alone. There is history there to finally get Sasha Banks versus Bayley both at the top of their game, facing each other at Mania. Would be great. It would possibly be one of the main events of WrestleMania 2. You know, there are 2 nights of it. You can have this be one of the main events and have Roman main event the other. I wouldn't mind that. You know, it's a great caliber match, and they're both on the top of their game too. So yeah, Bayley's one is quite an easy one to book. She is quite simply the best at the moment, or one of the best. This heel character has brought out the best in Bayley, and her winning it would be a great choice. There are so many ways you can go with it. You can have the shock of Bianca winning that title to face Bayley at Mania and then beating Bayley at Mania. You can have Bianca beat Sasha and beat Bayley to end up coming out of WrestleMania as women's champ. You could have that if you really want to. I just feel like you've got to go with Sasha versus Bayley personally. Next up on the list is Charlotte Flair. Now, Charlotte Flair is one I do not want to win. I do not want her to be anywhere near it. She shouldn't win back-to-back Rumbles. She doesn't need it. She's got enough of a storyline to be facing Asuka anyway. Oh, you lost the women's title. You got pinned, or blah blah. You were this, you were that. I'm now going to face you for your title. Blah blah, I win title. Done. There's your storyline for Charlotte. You don't need it. But if she was to win the Rumble and go against what we all want, then I would have her eliminate Bianca. Maybe is a good choice to have her eliminate. Have her eliminate someone like I'm looking at the list. There's not many that she can have eliminate at the end, but have her eliminate someone like Bianca, have her eliminate maybe Shayna Baszler again in the Rumble, although that would blow up the internet. But for me, you want Charlotte to be the biggest heely possible. I know she's got this storyline with Lacey Evans, which is why personally I don't think she's going to win. I don't think they're going to have a win now. I think they've brought in this Lacey Evans storyline to possibly give Charlotte a reason to get eliminated and keep Charlotte strong. I think that's why they're doing it, personally. I don't think she's going to win it, which is good. But I'd have that. I'd have maybe her eliminate Lacey Evans at the end. Maybe, you know, her overcome the odds of Rick and Lacey. Have her win. Have her go full heel, beat up her dad, beat up Lacey Evans, and not in this big baby face way, in this big heely way of I'm now the best in the world. Really hammer home I'm the best in the world. Then she goes on and faces Asuka at Mania and probably beats Asuka. Let's be honest. I would probably have her beat Asuka anyway, and then have that heelish character go out of Mania of I'm the best, and hopefully that character, that real heely character, like go full hog heel with Charlotte. None of this tweener bullshit. She doesn't need it, and she isn't good at it. She is good at it, but we all know she's a heel. So go full hog with this heel character. Really hammer home this whole idea of I am the best. I've got all these accolades. I'm going to become better than my dad. My dad's legacy is nothing in comparison to the legacy I'm going to lead. Have that. Have just her hammer home this. Just keep going at it. Have her beat Asuka. Have her come out of WrestleMania. This big heel character that everyone hates, but hates for the right reasons. For once we'll hate her for the right reasons, and that being that she's bloody good at this heel character and can go on and maybe rise up some people up the rankings, like Lacey Evans. Has a feud with Lacey Evans, has a feud with the likes of Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. You know, rise the stock of that women's roster. Bring people up from the mid card of this women's roster up to the main event scene. Lower some people for a bit. That's one of the beautiful things they do with the men's division at half the time, is they swap and change, and you know, you'll have dominance of this person and this person, but then, you know, you'll have these matches where you rise the stock of other people. They don't do it very often with the women's, and even with WWE they don't do it very often. You know, they get stuck where they keep doing the same feud for about 4 or 5 months. Rotate, because that's where you get the beauty. That's where NXT do really well, is they rotate champions, they rotate contenders. You know, at the moment NXT has risen the stock of Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne like that. Just by putting them in the main event against Finn Balor, they have raised the stock of them. And that's what you got to do here. If Charlotte comes out as champion, you've got to raise the stock of the women's division. You've got to have people in that mid card go up. Then you can have a lengthy run with Charlotte as champ. But she does something good. For once, Charlotte Flair as champion does something good for the women's division. It raises the stock of many women's wrestlers. And then you have Rhea Ripley win. You have Rhea Ripley dethrone Charlotte, this big dominant Charlotte. You know, she goes through rising the stock of a few of the mid cards, similar to what Roman's done with Jey Uso and stuff. Rise the stock of those. Do that with Charlotte. Rise the stock of many of these women. Then have Rhea Ripley come along. Obviously, people are just thinking, oh, okay, they're going to rise the stock of Rhea Ripley. They're going to have her face Charlotte. It's going to be a very good match and stuff like that. Shock them. Have Rhea beat her. First time. First go. None of this, oh, she lost the first time, then she gets a third chance and a fourth chance and a fifth chance and then she wins it. No, let her beat her the first time. The story is already there from last Mania. Have that happen. I know I've rambled here about more of what happens post Charlotte, but Charlotte, if she wins the Rumble, the road to WrestleMania is very easy. Let's be honest. It is quite simply her win the Rumble, her go on to face Asuka, her win title. It's kind of obviously reminiscent. The main thing I wanted to talk about here is if Charlotte wins, she needs this big heel character. She needs to become the biggest bitch in wrestling. That's what she needs to become. I don't think they will. I think they want her face. I think they want her the face of the women's division, especially with Becky out. But don't do it. Have Charlotte be this big bitch. Have it happen. That is what you got to do with Charlotte. Right, next up is Rhea Ripley. One pick I would love to win the Rumble this year. This Road to WrestleMania is very simple indeed. It's a redemption story. Maybe have her eliminate Bayley, maybe at the end. Yeah, I'd have her eliminate Bayley at the end, because Bayley's a believable winner. So I'd have her eliminate Bayley at the end, and do that, you know, or will this newcomer win, or will, you know, and then it's obvious what happens from here. You have Rhea kind of just be like, look, I've got to redeem myself from last year. I have to win at Mania. I've got to leave WrestleMania for the first time as champion. I walked in last year without a with a championship, and I walked out without. This year I walk in without a championship and I walk out with one. That's the whole of all of Rhea Ripley's promos. That's kind of the main bulk of what she says. Then you have this big feud between Charlotte and Asuka. Charlotte and Asuka lose the tag titles, whether that be at the Royal Rumble or post Royal Rumble. They lose the tag titles. Charlotte gets annoyed. Charlotte beats up Asuka. Charlotte turns on Asuka and wins the women's title. At that point, obviously you have Asuka maybe get a rematch. Maybe Charlotte rise the stock of someone. I know I mentioned that she should do that post-Mania if she wins the Rumble. She should do that pre-Mania if Rhea wins the Rumble. Have her almost beat nobodies, right? Don't have her beat anyone big. You don't need to. You've got Elimination Chamber as one pay-per-view, and you've got Fastlane. Have Charlotte beat Asuka at one of those, probably Elimination Chamber, let's be honest. Then you have Charlotte face maybe a Mandy Rose or someone like that at Fastlane. Someone that you know she's going to beat, but that's the point. Is it rises their stock, it puts them in the main event picture for a little bit. You know she's going to win. That's okay. Sometimes the most obvious things to happen are the best things to happen. And if Charlotte's going to go from Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania with a women's title, you have her rise the stock of someone in the process. Just it's an easy thing to do. It's similar to what Roman did with Jey Uso. Jey was an easy pickings first choice for Roman. You knew Jey wasn't going to win the world title, but if you tell a compelling enough story, Jey is now considered a main event talent in many people's heads. Out of nowhere. You can do that to someone else, someone like Mandy Rose. Raise their stock, and that will do so much for the women's roster going post WrestleMania. Then you have Charlotte win. Post Charlotte win at Fastlane, maybe even post Charlotte win at Elimination Chamber, you have Rhea stake her claim. I'm going to take your title. You took mine last year, I'll take yours this year. And that'll be the story. You go into Mania, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Can Rhea Ripley get redemption? By God, she does. I know WWE wouldn't book it that way. I know WWE would decide to randomly choose to have Charlotte beat Rhea, and then you have this whole thing where Rhea can't get it done, and Charlotte's the best, and Charlotte's the best, and Charlotte's the best. Please don't do that. But if I was in charge, you would have Rhea go over. You'd have Rhea go over, have this big commemorative moment, have it main event one of the WrestleMania nights. Have it do it. Because quite simply, you want to send the fans home happy. I can tell you right now, Charlotte Flair losing to Rhea Ripley, my God, will it send the fans home happy. It really would. Have that happen. Have that big commemorative moment. Have the confetti. Have the fireworks. Have Rhea Ripley stand tall. Have the crowd go mental from their social distancing seats. And then you move on. And then you go and Rhea Ripley carries on as champion for a couple of months. She doesn't have to hold it for long. She can probably lose it at SummerSlam or something. But her winning that title off of Charlotte, don't make her lose it to Charlotte either. Make her lose it to maybe someone like Alexa Bliss. Maybe make her lose to someone like Alexa Bliss. Have Charlotte, have Rhea Ripley kind of go down the card a little bit. Only for a little bit and then rise back up. You can quite happily have that. But, you know, you need her to lose not to Charlotte again because, you know, maybe she loses to Charlotte down the line, but nowhere near that title picture for a long time. It's fresh in our heads. We don't want that. Keep Charlotte away at all costs. But make the fans, the fact that Rhea Ripley is facing Charlotte at Mania, even if it main events, trust me, after the damage you did last year, it will put doubt in people's heads whether you'll actually give it to Rhea Ripley. But then you give it to Rhea Ripley, you have that big ovacious moment, and the world would love it. The world would go mental for it. Next up is another one I would not like to win the Rumble, and that is Alexa Bliss. I feel like her and Randy's storyline is so good at the moment. I feel like she doesn't need to win the Rumble. Personally, how I would have booked it if she wasn't going to win it was have her enter the Rumble as Firefly Funhouse Alexa, have her get eliminated as Firefly Funhouse Alexa, and then have baddie Alexa help eliminate Randy Orton in some way, shape or form from the men's Rumble. What I would do here is I'd have bad Alexa enter both, maybe, or no, I would have, and this would have to be timed to perfection, I would have Alexa Bliss in the final as Funhouse Bliss, kind of getting battered throughout the Rumble, but kind of like the Iron Woman of the Rumble. She just kind of sticks in there a little bit and doesn't get eliminated into like the final two. And then you have maybe, it doesn't really matter, maybe you have Charlotte, maybe you have Bayley. Someone eliminates Alexa Bliss from the Rumble. They throw her out, lights gone, lights shut off. As Alexa Bliss is going over the top rope, the lights go off. The lights come back on, and Alexa Bliss is standing in the ring behind whoever it is. That person turns around, Alexa Bliss, Sister Abigail, throws them out the ring, Alexa Bliss wins the Rumble. I think that would be quite cool. It would be quite a inventive moment. It's only one you could probably do without the fans there, so why not do that inventive finish now while the fans aren't there, because you'll never be able to do it again and it will be remembered for a long time. What an inventive finish. You have her virtually go over the top rope, you know she's going to get eliminated, but the lights go off, so you never know, you don't know. Then whoever they eliminate, maybe, yeah, have it be Bayley, because Bayley would be incredible on like SmackDown, moaning at the fact that she knows she eliminated Alexa Bliss but isn't given the right of the win of the Royal Rumble. She isn't being credited as the winner even though she knows she eliminated Alexa Bliss. It's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. Have that be Bayley's storyline, have her run with it because she'll be incredible at it. Have her just go for it. Have Alexa Bliss, however, kind of just be all happy-go-lucky, blah, blah, blah. Have her get involved with Randy as well and have her eliminate Randy in some way, shape or form. Have her distract Randy, Edge eliminates Randy. Have that happen. Then I would have Alexa Bliss and Randy have this storyline. Almost have Alexa mention the fact she's the Royal Rumble winner, and almost have this whole idea of like her and the Fiend, and have this all carry on and reference the fact that she won the Rumble, but don't necessarily put it the forefront. Have it kind of put on the back burner. People ask her, what do you want? Who do you want to face at Mania? And she's just like, he hasn't chosen yet. He hasn't chosen yet. Like, have it be all about the Fiend. Have like the whole point of, you know, he hasn't chosen. He hasn't chosen. So that you give this idea of, you know, oh, what's going on here? I I would then have an intergender match between Randy and Alexa at Chamber. I'd have them face off, and that maybe a distraction finish makes Alexa win. Yeah, Alexa wins through a distraction finish in some way, shape or form. Lights go off, the Fiend comes back, maybe the Fiend comes back, maybe it's just a Firefly Funhouse segment where Bray comes back, something that distracts Randy. Alexa Bliss wins in some way. That would be awesome. We then go on to Fastlane, and we just have a segment. Maybe you have like a big segment where Randy calls out the Fiend at Fastlane, and then maybe on the Tron, a date WrestleMania is put on. Maybe that's when Bray comes back, and you know, you hear all the tune, you hear the Firefly Funhouse tune, and you have him talk about WrestleMania and the fact that WrestleMania will be the birth of one creature and the death of another. It will be the birth of a monster, the death of a serpent, stuff like that. You know, Bray's cryptic promos going on and on and on and on. And have that be where Bray will then allow Alexa to announce who she's going to face at Mania. Maybe you have that as like the segment. You have Alexa be, oh, I will announce at Fastlane who I will face at Mania. So then that sets up the whole Randy coming out thing, because Randy and Alexa are still involved, and then they have the Firefly Funhouse thing happen, and then Bray does this thing where he's like, you know, we'll face each other at Mania, but allows Alexa to announce who she's going to face. She announces she's going to face Asuka. The whole storyline then is that Asuka has been beaten nearly twice by Alexa at this point, but has managed to hold on to a title. Can she hold on to it again? Can she beat Alexa? The answer is no, she can't. Alexa will go over at Mania. She will beat Asuka, and then that'll be the storyline. And then I think Asuka should then win it back from Alexa. I think the whole storyline then should be Alexa is like everyone else on the roster is trying to rise up, trying to take her down, but they can't. And you have this big segment with Asuka, this big storyline where she's not really unsure what to do. She's unsure on who she is, whether she has it in her to beat Alexa and all of that. She just goes on and on and on about that, and then eventually, maybe at SummerSlam, maybe even later than that, she finally topples Alexa Bliss. She overcomes her fear of Alexa, she overcomes this doubt in her head, and then she topples Alexa, and that's kind of how Alexa's whole character will then go. I think that's the best way of doing it, because it's a difficult one to book Alexa Bliss in this situation, but she's easier to book than the Fiend. The Fiend is this big monster character, and yes, Alexa Bliss is that, but Alexa Bliss is different. Alexa Bliss feels beatable, she looks beatable, even when she's in a like crazy fiendish state. She still looks more beatable because she doesn't look like a monster like the Fiend, because she's not a monster. You know, the Fiend has awakened the best version of Alexa Bliss, hasn't awakened a monster in Alexa Bliss. That's the difference between the Fiend and Alexa. So that's why it's believable that Asuka could beat Alexa. But the whole build-up should be about Randy Orton and the Fiend, and you don't really reference too much this Asuka, the Asuka Alexa Bliss stuff. You don't really mention the fact that Alexa won the Rumble. You mention it in parts, but you don't make it the forefront of television until Fastlane, and that's where the big reveal of not only who Alexa will face, but also the big fight feel between Bray and Randy finally happens. And then from the build-up from Fastlane through to WrestleMania, you will then have Alexa and Asuka facing off, having all these little segments, having this little thing of, you know, Asuka doesn't know if she can beat Alexa, and that would be the whole storyline. You don't need much more than that. And finally will be Bianca Belair. Now, Bianca Belair's journey is very similar to Bayley's. You have it go down... Pardon me. It's very similar to Bayley's. You have it go down to Bianca and Bayley at the end, but this time you have Bianca eliminate Bayley. You then have Bianca make it clear, I'm going to go for the SmackDown Women's title. From the beginning, she's someone that I think you don't need to add this, oh, who will she go for? Have it kind of linger a little bit as to, you know, what's going to happen. Well, don't have it linger. You don't need it to happen. Sorry, I'm getting my head mixed up. You don't need it to linger. Just have her announce, I'm going after the SmackDown Women's title. Then in the whole build-up, I think with Bianca's one, you need, what is going on? I don't know, there's a truck outside, there's a van that's making loads of noises. Hopefully you guys don't hear too much of that. But you have, I think this way you do have an Elimination Chamber match for that SmackDown Women's title, as this whole thing of who will be the champion going in. I think then you have maybe it be, I would say you'd have Sasha, Bayley, who else is on SmackDown? Who else is on SmackDown? I don't even know who else is on SmackDown. If I'm completely honest, I can't even think. My brain has gone completely blank of who's on SmackDown. Carmella, maybe in there. Oh, yeah, you would have like Sonya Deville maybe in there through Adam Pearce. You would have maybe Billie Kay in there. Maybe Liv Morgan or maybe one of the Riot Squad. Maybe you have Billie Kay get in there, and that means that the Riot Squad have to face off for another place in there. Something like that. You can progress all the storylines with that. But you have a really big Elimination Chamber match, just like this Last Chance to Leave. You kind of know that only Bayley or Sasha are going to come out as champs. You then have Sasha come out as champ, I think. Yeah, I think so, yeah. Then you have Bayley versus Sasha maybe at Fastlane. What a match at Fastlane. You have Sasha come out on top there. You then have Bianca and Sasha as the little rivalry. Bianca goes over. Post-Mania, I said, as I think said before, I think you probably go for Bayley to be the first contender for Belair, and then Bianca goes over. I know that kind of buries Bayley a little bit. I don't really mind if it's Bayley or Sasha that ends up being the champ at the time of Mania to face Bianca. But I definitely believe it will be a good match either way, and whoever the other one isn't should be the first contender for Bianca. And then it's like, oh, I've beaten Sasha and Bayley to be champ, and that elevates Bianca to another level. Then you've got another main event women's talent on the roster, which is just going to bulk out the women's division so much more. As I said, it's going to be a similar road to if Bayley won the title, but that's just a credit to how SmackDown have booked, how the SmackDown writers have booked SmackDown at the moment. They've made it so if Bianca or Bayley win that Royal Rumble, it doesn't matter, and the storyline's going to be very similar. I do believe the women's winner is coming from SmackDown. I do think it will be Bianca or Bayley. I'm not sure which one. I have a feeling it'll be one of those two. But yeah, I do think that's the way you've got to go. I think that's actually the way they will go. If it's Bianca or Bayley, I think they'll go the way I've kind of said. But yeah, that is how I would book the top 5 most likely winners of the Women's Royal Rumble to go on to WrestleMania. So yeah, if you want to see more of these fantasy booking things, please hit that like button and do tell me in the comments down below. How would you book these guys to go on their roads to WrestleManias? Do you agree with the way I would book them, or do you believe there's a better way? Please do tell me down in the comments down below. And also tell me who you would like to win the Women's Royal Rumble this year. Do check out my other stuff on the Royal Rumble over the past week. I've got my tier list of the 30 most likely winners, and I've also did how I would book the 5 most likely men. I did it for both, so please check out that other stuff if you haven't done it already. If you're new here, please do subscribe and check out my other content so you do not miss a thing, and I shall see all of you guys in the next video. See ya!